Well, somebody asked me today when I was kind of explaining to them what a bot was, and so I just gave them a definition of basically, you know what text messaging is, right? Online messaging. It uses that technology along with bots to basically interact with humans conversationally. And so I just thought I'd throw that out there for anybody that might, um, need a quick explanation for what a bot really does. Because really what it is doing is it's interacting with humans conversationally without you having to, physically be there and engage at the time when they are actually on your page. But the other thing that I really like about the bot is when a bot is engaged and you want to actually jump in and engage personally at any time, you can do that as well.
Okay. So can you say more about that, please? Because that's a really key point that we have not talked about. So how would you know, as an example, so let me say this and then I'll ask the question. Let's give the comparison, like for weight loss, right? You see someone that's maybe overweight, someone that's looking really slim and trim, and the question is, it's which would you prefer, right? You see one or the other, right? Um, so for the contrast, I'm going to do the before and then I'll let you do the after. The before is you have a website, right? And it doesn't have a bot on it. And someone goes to the website. Do you have any idea that they're on your website right now? No, right?
No.
Now, in contrast to that, you've got a bot on your site. Someone goes, they start interacting with the bot. Now what? So take it away.
Well, so basically, when they start interacting with the bot, you start to see what it is that their interests are. And you know, and what level of interest they have. If they engage with the bot and they're engaging with it a lot, you know, at some point, if you want to, you can jump in there and, basically say, hey, I just happened to notice that you had a specific question, or, you know, um, I happen to, uh, you know, be monitoring this conversation at the time and notice that I can help you right now if you would like. If they're in that, if they're ready to do something with you at that moment, then you can basically engage with them at that moment. When the iron's hot, basically.
Right. And then it looked like Scott was going to address that. Is that correct? And then I'll use an
Yeah.
analogy to go with it. And go ahead, Scott.
Do you want to give your analogy first?
Sure, I will use my analogy. I've used this before. So let's say, and it's not the analogy a lot of people probably, prefer to be compared to, but let's say if you were a car salesperson, right? And you've been working and you're hungry, and so you go to the cafeteria to have lunch, but the cafeteria or whatever, the lunchroom at the car dealership is in a room with no windows. So you're in there, you're having lunch, you've worked hard. Meanwhile, there's a couple that comes on the car lot. If someone comes on the car lot, they're probably there, right? Who goes to a car lot unless they're looking and possibly going to buy. But because they're on the car lot while you're in the lunchroom and you don't know they're there, you can't help them. Now, let's say they find a car that they really like, but they want it in red and they don't see a red, let's say it's a Corvette. They see all the blue, the yellow, and they're like, wow, that looks really great, but I want a red. They don't see red. So they walk across the street to your competitor who happens to have a red Corvette. They buy from your competitor. You lost the sale, right? So now back to you. That's my analogy. So how, Scott, having a bot on your website, that's the question I was asking John. How would you know, using the analogy, you're in the cafeteria and now someone's quote on the car lot because they're interested in buying your product, your service, your opportunity.
Right. So what John was saying was similar in your analogy, to occasionally peeking out of the door and looking at the showroom floor and seeing if someone is there. And if you happen to be paying attention and notice that someone is having a conversation, having a problem, then you could jump in, and that is doable. But it's actually a step better than that. You can tell your bot, if there's an answer that's confusion, the bot doesn't know what's going on, it gets confused and it responds, I don't quite understand what you're saying. Let me get someone to help you, is one thing that they can do. And the other is you can say, if at any time you want to speak with a live person, just type live person or help me or some phrase. And in either case, the bot can trigger an action, and that action can be, hey, send an SMS message to the admin of this bot and tell them there's someone on the messenger that needs their attention. And then you can log in and look out the door and see them and interact with them. So your bot will page you.
And or, correct me if I'm wrong, I'll go back to the what I thought John was going to say. Like when I'm testing with Scott, what I have 2 monitors, but I hear ding, 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 so I know the bot is engaging. So what if you were in the cafeteria, no windows, but when someone steps on the car lot, you have an alarm going off or whatever. So someone's on the car lot. Oh, now I should step out, or take a look or whatever. So that's one way that I know when someone is engaging with the bot. What I thought also, so you can do, so correct me again, Scott, if I'm wrong, is not only could you text someone, but you could set it up where you say, would you like to talk to a live person now? Click the button, so you could have a button that says, yeah, call me, or text me, or type in a message, whatever. You can have a variety of different options. You would need to set up your bot to say, when someone clicks the call me button, have it call me at this number, obviously, right?